Hello and welcome to your practice today. I'm here at our beautiful retreat venue in Kenya, and I always tend to share in a practice whatever it is that I feel like I need. And today I really feel like I needed an anchor. I needed something to really help ground me and keep me calm and resilient whilst things are really turbulent around me and I feel really kind of rocked about and a bit scatty. So I hope today that this is also going to be a practice that provides a bit of an anchor for you. So whenever you're ready, you can find yourself a nice comfortable seat. You don't need anything for this practice except yourself, your body, and a yoga mat if you have one, but if you don't, that's fine too. So find yourself a nice comfortable seat. When you feel ready, you can sit on a block as well or a cushion if you'd like to. And then just let your hands kind of fall to wherever they fall to. And we're going to sit nice and tall in the seat, feeling like you're kind of being pulled up from the crown of your head. And then really gently tucking your chin ever so slightly so that you feel like your earlobes line up with the center line of your shoulders. Roll those shoulders back ever so slightly. And then let your gaze fall to the floor in front of you. And then slowly, we're just going to walk the gaze towards ourselves. And maybe the gaze just softens down, or maybe the eyes close. Totally up to you. But notice that as you turn inward, there might be little spots of holding on. Specifically, if you're sitting in this kind of easy pose, the knees tend to kind of seize up a little bit. They tend to hold on. So let's see if we can soften down through the knees ever so slightly. Bringing in awareness to your breath. Noticing how you're feeling in your body, in your mind, in your heart today. Bringing a sense of ease to your jaw and to the backs of the eyes. I want to invite you just to continue to focus your awareness on the breath. Sometimes it can help to lay one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly. Feeling for the movement underneath your hands as you breathe. Begin to elongate ever so slightly the inhale and the exhale. So we make the breath a bit fuller, a bit rounder. And then specifically focusing on the breath out. And as you breathe out, notice the sense of heaviness through the hips. This feeling of ease that comes into the bones. There's a kind of dropping in with every breath out. So let's really bring our awareness to that exhale. And allow ourselves to drop in. Let the bones become heavy. Sit bones especially. Nice. And when you feel ready to move, you can just slowly roll the shoulders. Roll them back a few times, roll them forward a few times. Let the head fall side to side. Notice any sticky spots in the neck, and you're welcome to just kind of hang out on one side. Feel into whatever you're feeling through the neck, through the shoulder. Take some time to give that sensation some space. And you're welcome to keep your eyes closed if you're really enjoying being there, or you can open them. All we're going to do is take a breath in and reach the hands up to the sky. Then as you breathe out, we're going to cactus the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades back and down. And again, we're going to inhale, reach the hands up high. And as you exhale, press down and start to really press down into the ground. So you have that sensation of dropping anchor, of being really heavy. So an inhale to lift and an exhale to pull down, imagining that you're kind of pressing your elbows through something really sticky, really tricky. So push down into the ground, inviting in that heaviness even more. Inhaling up and exhaling down. A couple more times, just like this. And then from your seats, we're gonna just drop forward. So allow your chest to come forward any amount. You bring your fingertips to the floor. You bring your hands to your knees, or you can start to walk your fingertips forward, coming down onto the forearms, maybe resting the forehead on the ground, whatever feels really comfortable for you today. Noticing now any sensations in the hips that might come up, maybe in the back. Wherever they come up is fine. I really love to do a gentle sway side to side when I'm here. And then you can feel into each hip individually. Wonderful. And then just walking the hands over to the right and extend the left hand out a little bit further. And as you extend that left hand out, gently tug the left hip back and push it down into the ground. So we're pressing down through the fingers, we're pressing down through the left hip. And we're creating this opening, this space through the outer left hip. Maybe into the side as well. Sometimes if my shoulders are super tight, I can feel this behind the shoulders. Where you're feeling your stuff doesn't matter too much, just as long as you're feeling something really nice. And then walking over to the other side. Same thing again. So the right fingertips are going to extend, and then the right hip is going to press down. And then we're going to come back to center. And the way that you're sitting cross-legged, if you are sitting cross-legged, we're just going to go ahead and change the way that we sit. If you're on your knees or any other seating position, feel free to just stay where you are. We're just going to do the same again. So we're going to reach forward with the fingertips and come down, come forward and down, just any amount. And then when you're ready, walking your hands over to the left and extending the left hand out into the side. We press down through the fingertips, we press down through the outer left hip. And you can imagine that your breath kind of travels all the way from your fingertips up over the shoulder and down the side body, all the way into the hip. And then we'll walk across to the other side, extending the right fingertips, pressing down through the right hip this time. Noticing if there's any kind of difference between the two sides. It's okay if there is, perfectly normal if there is. We're just always working to find balance in our practice, physically, mentally, emotionally. We're just always seeking to rebalance, aren't we? And then we'll find our way up. Let's take one big final stretch up. And then cactusing the arms, really pulling down now, pressing down, and ease in the knees, everything really pressing down into the ground. Lovely. And then roll yourself over. Make your way into an all fours kind of position. And we'll move through a few rounds of cat and cow. So drawing the belly down and lifting the gaze, and then rounding out through the belly, pulling the belly to the spine, tucking the chin to the chest, and pressing into the hands. So take a few rounds of cat and cow, taking any opportunities that you would like to pause in either of these spaces. Sometimes this belly stretch could feel really good. Sometimes rounding through the spine, pushing into the shoulders makes lovely space between the shoulders. So feel free to pause wherever it feels nice. You can even barrel roll through the belly, bring it out to the side and down and around and up. Just any movement that feels really good for you here. And then bringing the knees a little bit wider and sending the hands forward. We're going to drop the chest down to the ground into a puppy pose. Sending the hips nice and high. And then where your arms are touching the ground, think about the connection there and really press down into the ground. And then as you press down into the ground, begin to guide your hips up and back. You really are finding as much space as you can through the spine. maybe through the armpits. Again, wherever you're feeling this is perfect. If you'd like to, you can bring your hands into prayer over your head, push down through your elbows into the ground, and begin to press your chest down as you pull your hips away. Over here, but still try to maintain that connection to the exhale. Find your way up. We're going to find our way into downward facing dog. When you're ready, no rush. Just taking a pause here, taking a few moments. Maybe stepping out the feet. Find some space at the back of each leg. And then we'll find some stillness in this downward facing dog. So spread the fingers really wide. Press down through the knuckles, the fingertips. Push down into the ground through the hands. And then push the ground away from you as you pull the hips up. Take a big breath in. And let that exhale again draw you down, anchor you down into the ground. The heels will draw down. Hands will press down. You can bring your gaze between your feet or up at your navel. So let's just stay here with the breath. Stay here with that exhale specifically. Any sensations, any emotions, any thoughts that are coming up. Let's just stick with them and stay focused on that exhale. With your next inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up to the sky. We're going to step through into a low lunge. So knee towards your nose as you come through. And then up to you. You can find your way up if you'd like. You can keep the hands on the ground. If you want a bit more space through the front of the left hip, sometimes I like to keep the hands on the ground and roll over to the side. If you want to come up, if that feels nicer for you too, you can. You can keep the hands on the knee, at the hips, wherever feels really good for you. Just staying here, finding some space through the front of the left hip, and it's that breath out, that magical breath out that we're really staying very attuned to. We're going to come into a really gentle twist. So the left hand will drop to the ground, the right hand will reach up, and then we're going to send it back behind us. Bring your gaze back with that hand as well. And bring it all the way forward and down to meet the floor, and then up and over. A really gentle twist through the spine. A few times like this. Inhale to open up. Make some space. Exhale, ground down and move into that space. Nice. And then straightening out the right leg. Just a gentle half split as you pull the right hip back and draw the toes in towards the face. And then we're going to roll forward, lift the back knee up and find your way back to a downward facing dog. Take 4 breaths here. And we're still staying really attuned to that exhale. The inhale helps us rise up, find some energy, find some lift, find some space. The exhale, we ground down, we soften into that space. The next time that you breathe in, let's lift the left leg and then bring it through to the front, knee to nose. We're coming back into our lunge. Wherever you want to be with that lunge, once again, is perfect. Just gently making some space through the hips. And then moving into our little twist. So the right hand will come to the ground, and then the left hand will come up and over as you open up, and then all the way around and down. Just gently touching the floor, and then up and over. A couple more times, just like that. Wonderful. And then the next time that you come forward with that hand, Make your way into that half split, straightening out through the left leg. And then rolling forward, lift the back knee up, downward facing dog. 4 breaths. Nice, steady, round, wholesome breaths. And then walking the feet up to meet the hands. Lifting up halfway, nice long spine, a sort of L shape with your body, and then rolling down to the ground. We're going to lift up halfway again as we breathe in. Exhale, rolling down. Again, halfway lift, and then rolling down. Halfway lift, rolling down. Stay here if you'd like for a few moments. Make some space in the back of the legs. You can take a hold of the big toes if you'd like, the ankles. Keep your hands on your thighs maybe. The space is a bit tight in the back of your legs. Again, we're just looking for things to feel really nice. And then we're going to rise up, bend the knees ever so slightly, coming to standing. Hands come over the head and then to your heart center. We're going to soften all the way down into Malasana, into a squat. So wiggle your feet nice and wide and bring the hands down. Take your time to get there. You always want to make some space as you slowly lower. If Malasana is really not your friend, you can also just come down onto your bum as we started with the legs crossed. So wherever you are with this squat, maybe you're sitting on a block. Sometimes I like to sit on a block, it makes it a bit easier. Maybe you're just sitting cross-legged. What's important here is that there's a lovely sense of opening in the hips. And we're still with that exhale. That exhale is still our anchor, our friend. And you're welcome to take any movement that feels good here in the squat. It's nice to kind of open up one side and then the other. That can feel really good. You can also just gently rock the hips from side to side. So you make like a kind of figure of 8 in the hips. That can feel good too. Wonderful. And then we're all going to come all the way down to the ground. So dropping onto our bottoms, rolling down, hugging the knees into the chest. And when you're here, notice. Notice how it feels to go from standing and then coming all the way down kind of quickly. And there's a real difference in sensation, isn't there, from standing tall to being so well supported by the ground underneath us. Let's take a nice big deep breath in through the nose. Big exhale from the mouth. Softening through the body. You're ready to just plant the feet on the ground and bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And we're going to drop the hips over to one side. And then we're going to drop them over to the other side. Find your way back through center and enter into Shavasana in any way that you would like. Maybe you just extend out, make yourself a nice big starfish. Maybe you put your legs up against the wall or knock your knees together or lie on your side. Wherever you want to be is perfect. Well, take a final big breath in through the nose. A really loud exhale from the mouth. And then let go of that control over the breath, that awareness on the breath. Just let everything settle. Let all of the stuff that's come up just kind of assimilate, mix up, swirl around, and then press down into the ground with your whole body. We'd really love to encourage you to stay here for as long as you can. I will be leaving you here, and really as long as you can, as long as you want. Let everything be still. You can return to the world whenever you're ready. Thank you very much for practicing with me this morning.